This video was made during trials of the reconstruction of an ancient Athenian trireme warship at Poros, Greece, in August 1990. The trireme was probably the fastest and most agile of all ancient warships. Its virtually only weapon was the ram for holing and disabling enemy ships, for which agility under oar was important. The ship is nearly 37 metres long, but only 3.7 metres broad at the waterline, with a draft of only 1.2 metres, manned and loaded. She is a slim ship, displacing about 45 tons manned and loaded, but only about 25 tons empty, as she is now. Here we see some of the volunteer trials crew of 170 oarsmen and women from many countries assembling on the quay for embarkation. The rowing master and the helmsman have the immediate control of the ship, while the captain, the Trireme, exercises overall direction of navigation and ship safety. One of the objects of these trials is to learn how to control such a large oar crew. Various methods of giving the time for oar strokes suggested by ancient writers have been tried, but due to the short time available for such trials as these in the modern world, the rowing master gives his orders and the time by a microphone with speakers distributed round the ship. Oar blades are only 30 centimetres apart in the water, so good timing and synchronisation are essential if blades are not to clash. This is the first thing every new crew has to learn. Rate of striking rises to about 45 strokes per minute in a sprint, as will be seen later. Views across the canopy contrast with the crowded scenes below, where the oars are worked by the numerous crew packed closely together. Oar crew can tell if people move about on the canopy and tend to complain that it upsets their rowing. The man in the blue hat, just glimpsed, is John Coates, who designed the ship in collaboration with John Morrison, the classical scholar who made a lifelong study of ancient Mediterranean ships, and of the trireme in particular. While resting, oar crew drink from their bottles of water to prevent dehydration. When working hard at oars, each person needs to absorb about 1 litre of water per hour to maintain body fluids lost by breathing and sweating. A lot of sweat drips off oar crew into the ship's bilges. Oar crew therefore have little need to urinate. Here we see the oar crew, who are pulling the oars in the lowest of the 3 levels. Looking up, we can see how the layers of oar crew are closely fitted together. They had to be close together so that 170 rowers could be fitted into a hull small enough to go into the ship sheds where triremes were kept on slipways ashore. That also resulted, to ensure sufficient lateral stability, in the heads of the lowest rowers having to be between and not under the hull beams.
Ready, row. 1, 2, 3.
The rowing master is preparing the crew to make the ship take a tight turn, using oars as well as the rudders.
6.4 knots. Starboard side easy. Port side pull on. 7.1 knots. 1, 2, 3.
We can see from the ship's wake how she is turning in about twice her own length, something that no modern warship can do.
The wake is almost going out perpendicularly from the ship.
Come into the rowing, all right? Get ready, port side. I'll tell you when. You'll come in with starboard. Get ready, port side.
You'll very rarely see such a tight turn, ever.
This is only one of the manoeuvres that can be carried out in oared ships by working parts of the crew in different ways, sometimes pulling astern as well as ahead. This was the key to the success of the Athenian navy in fighting by ramming. After the ship has been brought to the quay, stern first, and moored, oars are drawn into the ship, leaving only the blades protruding, and the rudders are hoisted into their stowed positions. The crew can then disembark to the orders of the rowing master. As the Athenian general and Trireme, wrote of triremes, "Do not those on board avoid getting in each other's way, only if they take their seats in order, swing forward in order, go aboard and go ashore in order.
We can't see where we're going at all.
It's very dark.
You can't feel the boat move. And you get your head a lot.
And you what?
Big lumps on the back of your head from hitting your head in the front and in the back.
Is it hotter down there?
Very. There's no breeze.
The air doesn't move much, and but sometimes we'll slap oars with other people, and that really gets confusing.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what's going on until your threnite tells you what's going on.
To show the whole ship proceeding under oar, Olympias was rowed next morning up the Poros Strait, past a vantage point for the camera. Here she is approaching with the safety boat in attendance. The morning is calm and quiet. Both rudders are fully immersed to provide instant maneuverability if needed.
Row, just port side, ready, row.
Only half of one rudder is in the water to minimize resistance, while keeping directional control of the ship on a straight course.
2, 35 seconds gone. 4, 3, 6, half minute to go.
Speeds are called out to encourage the crew. The striking rate touches 45 strokes per minute.
5, 6, 8.6.
The sprint is finished and the crew is exhausted. Speed averaged about 8.5 knots with a peak of 8.8, the fastest speed yet reached by Olympias. Well done. One gets here a powerful impression of a human-powered machine of which the ancient Athenians were masters through training and practice.